rooted for Will Smith my whole life. I root for this motherfucker, okay? And now, I watch Emancipation just to see him get whooped.
Few careers have had as many wild ups and downs as Will Smith's. This is a man who was once one of the most loved entertainers on the planet, only to watch it all unravel during one shocking moment on live television. After generating over $10 billion at the box office, Will made the surprising decision to return to music and remind everyone that before the movies, there was a rapper called the Fresh Prince. But instead of a triumphant comeback, things got awkward fast. Hip-hop fans weren't buying it. Many saw his return not as something genuine, but as someone desperately trying to recapture a version of themselves the world had already moved on from. That's why the same questions keep coming up. How did Will go from respected rapper to one of the biggest movie stars alive? Why did so many artists write him off as soft? How did the public drama surrounding his marriage to Jada Pinkett Smith leave him looking even more exposed online? And then there's that one moment nobody can stop talking about, the Oscars, the night that permanently changed how the world saw him. Many believe that years of embarrassment and public ridicule had been quietly building inside him, and it all finally came out in the worst way possible. Then his newest album dropped, and things somehow got even messier, with fans wondering whether legends like Jay-Z and Kendrick Lamar had deliberately stayed away from the project. Back in the 1980s, Will Smith started building his name as the Fresh Prince out of Philadelphia alongside DJ Jazzy Jeff. Before he'd even finished high school, Girls Ain't Nothing But Trouble was already getting played everywhere. His image was clean-cut, funny, and completely family-friendly.
I've been Prince for years and years, but about 2 years ago, the DJs in the street started scratching, fresh, this is fresh. Everything was fresh, so I added the Fresh Prince onto my name.
No cursing, no street persona, just high-energy music and natural charisma. While rap was getting darker and more aggressive, Will became the mainstream-friendly option that radio stations and TV networks loved. DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince were soon touring alongside legendary groups like Run DMC and Public Enemy. Then, in 1989, Will became the first rapper ever to win a Grammy, taking home the award for Parents Just Don't Understand. But even as he celebrated, the backlash was already building. A lot of hip-hop fans felt the industry rewarded Will simply because he was safe, while harder, more culturally important records were being completely ignored.
I made a commitment a long time ago to my grandmother, the type of person I was going to be, the type of music I was going to make, the type of movies I was going to make. I made a commitment to my grandmother.
Around that same time, NWA were dropping raw classics like Straight Outta Compton, while Public Enemy was making politically charged music that carried real social weight. To many fans and critics, Will winning that Grammy felt like the industry choosing comfort over culture. Still, none of that slowed him down. After poor financial decisions left him millions in debt to the IRS, a life-changing opportunity arrived. He was cast as the lead in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and the show became a massive hit almost overnight. That sitcom turned Will from a rapper into a full-blown Hollywood celebrity practically overnight. By the mid-1990s, Will was everywhere. Bad Boys, Men in Black, Independence Day, and later I Am Legend. Studios loved him because his name on a project basically guaranteed strong box office numbers. But no matter how much success he had, one thing kept following him around: people calling him soft. In the 1990s, hip-hop shifted hard. The culture started valuing authenticity and raw storytelling far more than clean, radio-friendly records. Artists like the notorious B.I.G. and Tupac Shakur became icons because they felt deeply real in a way Will's polished image never did. Will still dropped big hits like Miami and Gettin' Jiggy With It, but for many rap fans, his music felt manufactured compared to what was happening everywhere else. The gap kept growing, and by the early 2000s, Many in the culture had already mentally retired his rap career. Then Eminem arrived and flipped everything upside down.
Never opened up to interact with Pac, you know, and because we had a little bit of a thing, right? You know, they grew up together and, you know, they loved each other, but they never had that, you know, they never had a relationship. That was a huge regret of mine. I just I couldn't handle it, you know. I was the soft rapper from Philly and he was Pac.
Right.
Now I was deeply insecure and just, I wasn't man enough to handle that relationship.
Eminem was basically Will's complete opposite. Controversial, reckless, offensive, and not even slightly interested in being family-friendly. On The Real Slim Shady, Eminem took a direct shot at Will with the line, "Will Smith don't gotta cuss in his raps to sell records. Well, I do." That line spread everywhere and quietly embarrassed Will badly, because people wouldn't stop repeating it. His 2002 album, Born to Reign, sold significantly worse than anything before it. He was still dominating Hollywood, but fans were slowly checking out of his music. In 2005, Will responded with Mr. Nice Guy, trying to act unbothered. But to most people, that response only proved Eminem had gotten under his skin. Years later, in a 2022 interview, Will openly admitted the soft label had genuinely bothered him for a long time. He even shared a story about his grandmother writing a note in his rap notebook, telling him intelligent people didn't need profanity to express themselves. That lesson shaped his entire image from day one. Even DJ Jazzy Jeff admitted crowds would sometimes boo Will when he walked on stage, because hardcore rap fans never fully accepted the Fresh Prince persona. No matter how many theaters he was selling out worldwide, that feeling of not being respected in hip-hop never fully disappeared.
It come off like abuse. It comes off like abuse, I'm sorry.
Abuse of?
Abuse.
Of whom?
To Will.
Emotional abuse.
Things only got messier once his marriage became public drama. Will married actress Jada Pinkett Smith in 1997, and for years, they looked like the perfect Hollywood power couple. But there was always one figure casting a shadow over the relationship: Tupac Shakur. Jada and Tupac had a deep connection, going all the way back to their time at the Baltimore School for the Arts. She was closely involved in his creative world, and reportedly helped inspire the concept behind Tupac's legendary California Love video. Their bond became one of the most talked about relationships in hip-hop history. What made things harder for Will was how openly Jada spoke about Tupac over the years. Many fans started feeling like Will was constantly being measured against Tupac's memory, even decades after his death. When Tupac was locked up at Rikers Island, Jada reportedly even helped contribute money toward his release. At one point, Tupac allegedly asked her to marry him, which only added more fuel to the internet jokes aimed at Will later on. Even though Tupac Shakur proposed to Jada Pinkett Smith, she never accepted. But Tupac made it clear how much she meant to him. He once said, "Jada is my heart. She'll be my friend for my whole life. We'll be old together. Jada can ask me to do anything and she can have it." That had people looking at their connection completely differently, because it sounded far deeper than a regular friendship. Then tragedy hit. Just 1 year after that proposal, Tupac was killed in Las Vegas, and the entire hip-hop world was shaken. His death hit Jada hard. Years later, she revealed they'd had a serious falling out shortly before he was killed, and she never got the chance to fix things. That guilt clearly stayed with her for decades, and the whole situation only made Will look more insecure as the years went on. In his 2021 memoir, Will openly admitted he was jealous of Tupac and genuinely intimidated by him.
I talked to Jay and I talked to Kendrick, and I was like, "Hey, I wanna get back in music. What's the advice?" Jay said, "Don't fake your story. You gotta say what's true for you. Be true to your story. Tell your story." And that's where I got the based on a true story from Jay. And Kendrick, he paused. He said, "Man, just say that you always been scared to say."
He wrote, "In the beginning of our relationship, my mind was tortured by their connection. Though they were never intimate, their love for each other was legendary. He even confessed that Tupac's fearlessness and activism made him feel weak by comparison. Will also revealed that every time he was around Tupac, he basically shut down and couldn't hold a normal conversation. He wrote, "The way Jada loved Pac rendered me incapable of being friends with him. I was too immature." To some, that honesty made Will feel human. But to a lot of rap fans online, it just added more fuel to the soft label he'd been fighting for years. Things got even harder when Jada Pinkett Smith launched Red Table Talk in 2018. The show was built around radical honesty, but some of those conversations turned into very public humiliation for Will. Then came the biggest bombshell. During one viral episode, Jada admitted she'd been involved with singer August Alsina during a difficult period in her marriage. She called it an entanglement, and the internet exploded with memes and non-stop roasting aimed directly at Will. Things got messier when August Alsina claimed Will had known about it and given his blessing. Then August linked up with Rick Ross on a song literally called Entanglements, and one line, "Shorty leaning on my shoulder got her questioning my willpower," had people losing their minds online. Will's appearance on Red Table Talk to address everything left viewers feeling like they were watching him get emotionally dragged on camera while trying to hold a smile. Even Joe Budden publicly criticized the situation, suggesting Jada constantly bringing up Tupac was unhealthy for their marriage. The internet turned it all into one long joke, and Will was the punchline almost every time. Then came the moment that changed everything. At the 2022 Oscars, Chris Rock made a joke about Jada's shaved head. Will laughed at first, but seconds later walked on stage and slapped Chris Rock live on television in front of the entire world. The audience was stunned. Millions watching at home couldn't believe what they'd just seen. The clip spread everywhere instantly, and social media completely melted down. But the slap didn't silence the soft narrative. If anything, many felt it made things worse. Critics noted he laughed first and only reacted after seeing Jada's face. Others said he looked emotional and completely overwhelmed by years of built-up pressure. Either way, his reputation took a serious hit that night. Then, in 2024, Will announced Based on a True Story, his first album in more than 2 decades. He promised it would be his most personal and honest work yet. He even revealed he'd spoken with Jay-Z and Kendrick Lamar for advice while making it. But fans immediately noticed neither of them appeared on the album, which had social media joking that even hip-hop legends were keeping their distance. When it dropped, Will had brought in Big Sean, Joyner Lucas, Tiana Taylor, and the Sunday Service Choir connected to Kanye West. But none of it helped. Critics destroyed it, streaming numbers were brutal, and Based on a True Story became the first Will Smith album to completely fail commercially. It didn't chart anywhere significant. Back in his prime, his albums went multi-platinum. This time, the internet joked it went triple wood instead of platinum. A big reason people didn't engage is that audiences already felt overloaded with Will Smith drama. Between the Red Table episodes, the Oscars slap, and endless viral moments, fans felt like they already knew too much about his life. Instead of rooting for a comeback, many just felt exhausted by the whole story. Even his newer single Pretty Girls got roasted badly, with one reviewer calling it a cringe-inducing cry for help. At this point, fans are genuinely split. Some still respect everything Will built across music, TV, and film. Others think his return to hip-hop looks more like a public midlife crisis than a real comeback. Either way, one thing's undeniable. Will Smith's fall from the very top has been absolutely wild to watch, and nobody really knows if he can ever win the culture back again.